throughout the entire last chapter, we worked under the premise that an organization takes all their indirect manufacturing costs and they allocate them to one, maybe two indirect cost pools depending on the processes that the company uses in its manufacturing process, and then allocates those costs based on some allocation base, whether it's machine hours or labor dollars or um, dollars per labor dollar. And that way is much too simple, and that's kind of what this chapter does, is unravels that and gives us an alternative method to cost out jobs. And so the premise here in this first part of this problem is saying we've got three customers, United, Holden, and Leland, and one of them's complaining that their costs are awfully high, that we're charging them to make whatever product is that we make. And so we're told here that we're going to allocate, these are our total manufacturing indirect costs, this $306,800, and we're going to allocate those if we're using a simple costing system based on the machine hours. And here are my total machine hours, the 120, 2800, and 1080. So maybe I could just set this problem up like this. We have United, that's one customer. We have Holden, and we have Leland, that's the other one. And I could say something like our machine hours are right here, and United was 120, Holden was 2800, and there was 1000 from Leland. So if I add all those up, I have a total of 4,000 hours, and I'm going to need to spread out the indirect costs of $306,800. So if I'm using machine hours as my allocation base, I'd take the 306,800 divided by the 4,000, and that means I would allocate, so I would say something like this, maybe my allocation rate would be $76.70, and that's going to be irregardless of the customer. I'm going to allocate that much for every machine hour they've consumed throughout their the products processed through our plant. So I'd take the 120 times the 7670, that's how much I would allocate to United, and then Holden and Leland, I would do the same thing. I'm just taking the machine hours times the allocation rate. And so what you'll notice here is if I subtotal all of these here, $306,800, it's all been allocated. But it's all been they call this peanut butter smoothing, spreading out all those costs on just one allocation rate. So here's the answer, is the 9204, the 214,760, and the 82,836. So that's it for this first requirement.